So, boys and girls, I don't know about you out there, but I've heard that the Dilbert creator, Scott Adams, is a little bit divisive out there on the interwebs out there. And I thought it was kind of interesting because honestly, I did a video over him a couple of years ago and I did not expect it to go anywhere near as well as what it did. And actually got a surprisingly a lot of attention on it. And it kind of shocked me. Now, obviously, I was a fan of Dilbert when I was a kid. I loved the comic strip. I even watched the cartoon on UPN back in the 90s. I thought that was really hilarious. Like, I just absolutely love it. I love the dry humor. I love that kind of stuff. I'm a big fan of dry humor. So, and the whole corporate world and it being absolutely ridiculous. And Scott Adams hasn't shied away with the way the corporate media, the corporate entities have gone. And like he's even made fun of some of that stuff inside of his own Dilbert comics, which is probably one of the reasons why Dilbert's gotten a lot of cancellations over the last few years and is anywhere near as widespread, if at all, in a lot of your local areas. So it's kind of one of those things that's interesting. Well, Scott Adams is not done yet, boys and girls, because he has not been able to put up with this kind of nonsense anymore. And he is calling out all the BS. Now, given this is like a guy that is a registered Democrat, mind you, this is a guy that has always been on that side of the aisle for all of this kind of stuff. But even he can understand that irrational people with common sense and normal things going on, that this nonsense that they're pushing, this agenda-driven stuff, all of these acolytes of the cult that are put out there pushing this stuff does not work and it is not conducive to a functioning society in any way, shape, or form. And that's simply all he's calling out. So we're going to check out this article from Bounding into Comics because apparently Dilbert's creator Scott Adams has dismantled the DIE ideology, slams Democrats for using victimization as a tool for success, which is something we've been talking about for years. Literally, they always try to play the victim. That's why they try to call you a homophobe. That's why they try to call you a racist. They try to call you this, that, and the other kind of nonsense BS that they try to push out there because that's what they're trying to do. Oh, you should feel sorry for me. Oh, you should feel sorry for me because I'm this way and that way and yada, yada, yada. No, we're not going to feel sorry for you. My empathy is officially, completely, and totally run out for anybody that's outside of my actual family. Y'all can eat my ass. Nobody, you never deserved to be the victim. You never deserved to have the power you did. And now Scott Adams is completely and totally destroying you. And we're going to check this out and see exactly what he said. How much of it we agree with, maybe even some of it that we disagree with. So let's get into it. So Scott Adams, best known as the creator of the long-running comic strip Dilbert, has taken to social media to obliterate diversity, equity, and inclusion, which we prefer diversity, inclusion, and equity because it spells die. And that's where anybody that accepts these policies ends up going, especially if you're a corporation. Placing the blame on Democrats for using victimization as a tool for success. The Dilbert author would go on to list some of the reasons why he deems important to bring back right-wing ideas into certain branches of society that are mainly dominated by the left in an effort to reach a healthy balance between Democrat and Republican principles. Allow me to put a stake through the heart of DIE for you, Adams prefaced in a fairly lengthy post on X. If DIE proponents wanted to achieve the kind of diversity that is good for every member of society, they would correct the Democratic-Republican balance in most of our important companies. Woohoo, what a strange concept. It's almost like the compassionate people and the logical people need each other for society to function. I know, it's almost like we balance each other out. What a strange concept. He went on, a lack of Republican staff caused Twitter, Facebook, and Google to censor free speech for years before getting caught. A lack of Republican voices in corporate news businesses, excluding the Fox News bubble, which I wouldn't even count them anymore considering how corporate they are, but either way, allowed over 20 major political hoaxes to flourish in the past 5 to 7 years. The right had a few too. A lack of Republicans destroyed the reputation of Harvard. Republicans would have added balance to leadership. Google's Gemini AI, literally the future of their business, died in the crib because of the lack of Republicans on staff. Alluding to the growing number of companies that have failed after embracing left-wing ideas, Adam would add, I don't think I need to list the other corporations that shot themselves in the feet because they had too few Republicans on staff. You know all the stories. Obviously, we've given plenty of examples of that around here. Now, name something that broke because of too many Republicans. I'll give you abortion, if that's your worldview. Now name another. He challenged readers. Right, obviously, my worldview, I think that was a great thing. I think that should have been left up to the states a long time ago. I think abortion is murder. I have always been on that stance. I believe life begins at conception. And so, yeah. Other than that, even no matter what your opinion is on that, name something else that's been damaged by having too many Republicans involved. Hey, Black American men. This is one of the things he always gets in trouble for because he likes to address the black culture. Black American men, do you want to increase your odds of success? He would just copy Republicans. They have developed a mindset and a set of traditions that have always worked, no matter who uses the methods. Democrats, on the other hand, are biased towards using victimization as a tool for success. That's a female strategy. Yes, it is. When men do it, it looks pathetic to both sides. It's a losing strategy for men. Still not good for women and children, But black men, your DIE does not improve your access to the mentors and networking and winning mindsets of Republicans. It does the opposite. Are you thinking of getting a face tattoo and dropping out of school? Talk to a Republican before you do that. Any Republican, anywhere, anytime, they will stop what they are doing and give you an honest and useful advice. And if you follow that advice, they will offer you a job or recommend you, because people who can take advice and implement it are like diamonds. Everyone wants them. I'm a registered Democrat, but I grew up among Republicans, and they are my current audience. I am not guessing how they operate. You only hear about the fringe Republicans, the same way Republicans think Democrats are crazier than they are on average. Adams would go on to mock DIE ideology, making sure that his readers understood that playing the victim card is not something that anyone should be proud of. Now, I will tell you, black American men, something you would not be allowed to say in your bubble. The root cause of DIE debacle is batshit crazy white women who don't know how anything works outside of the female experience. And here, we have been talking about that for a while, that these 40-year-old single white women with too many cats who drink way too much are the problem, right? These are the ones that don't have any real life experience. They don't understand the relationship between a man and woman. They don't understand why family is important. They don't understand any of this. They were sold a bill of goods by this like fourth or third wave feminism or whatever, 10th wave feminism, whatever the nonsense is right now. They were sold this bill of goods that you will be happier if you put your career above having a family. And now it turns out that they're all 40 years old, unmarriageable, nobody wants to be with them anymore. Nobody definitely wants to have a family with them anymore at that age, and it's actually extremely hard for a woman to start a family at that kind of age. They sold you a bill of goods that has made you happy and unmiserable, and you have taken your misery out on the rest of the world, and guess what? We're not putting up with it anymore, and Scott Adams is calling you out for the nonsense. Check the stats. Republican women literally have a fraction of the mental health issues of liberal women. Now look at the saucer-eyed Democrats on MSNBC and tell me they don't look mentally ill. Absolutely, 100%. And this is something we've heard from people that have been inside the news organizations and inside that industry before. The majority of these people, these talking heads, especially the ones working for like CNN and MSNBC, they are hardcore substance abusers. They're either on a whole bunch of pills, they either drink themselves to sleep every night, or they do both. How else could you handle lying that much all the time and pushing an agenda that is completely contrary to every instinct that God has built inside of your body? Like, how else would you cope with that? You have to drown out your conscience. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. You see it. Sure, some Republicans are also nuts, but it's a matter of degree. For women, DIE probably looks like a plus. For black men, DIE is a huge source of systematic racism that didn't need to happen. And he has a follow-up post. No, boys and girls, he was not done there. He continues to do this. Another example, the DIE industry canceled me. Did the newspapers, Carrie and Dilbert, gain by deleting one of their most popular comics? And did the larger world benefit by not hearing my views? Yes, I'm on social media, but now so siloed, I'm not reaching Democrats. Absolutely. And that's their point. That's what they want. That's why they want to ostracize you. That's why they canceled Dilbert. That's why he had all of his comic strips removed from the world, from all of these different newspapers and all of these different organizations. They tried canceling him. And for the most part, as far as Dilbert is concerned and the comic and the wonderful stories that we love from that, they have been pretty accurate for that. But they have not stopped Scott Adams' ability to speak. That's one of the beautiful things that we have found over the last few years. That is one of the other beautiful signs that we are winning, because the cancel culture stuff has lost its power. It does not work. If Scott Adams had come out and said this a few years ago, he probably would have gotten nuked off of Twitter at the time, now X, and all of the rest of his social media platforms as well. But those days are long gone, boys and girls, because we are winning. And people like Scott Adams and so many of the rest of you out there who are simply ignoring this and tuning this nonsense out, or going out there and actively calling it out, are the reason why things are changing. It's the reason why we are winning, and it's why we might actually be able to pull off saving this beautiful thing we have called Western civilization. And guess what? Scott Adams and so many other people out there are doing that. They are talking about this. We will not be silenced. We will not be put back into our corners again, and we are not going to put up with this, because Scott Adams is right. Find a company, find an organization out there that has had too many Republicans or too many conservatives or too many common sense people. Destroy it. And then go find an organization with a bunch of left-wing ideologue nut jobs have taken over. I don't know. Disney, Hollywood, anyone? The mainstream comic book industry? Yeah, trust me. The proof is in the pudding. And DIE does nothing more than cause anyone and any company to accept it to do exactly that. Die. And guess what? If you don't change your ways, you're going to get exactly what you deserve.